Hello Animorphs fans and welcome back to another episode of Drinking Game to Animorphs podcasts. So we're moving away from podcasts now and more towards YouTube videos, but the title will stay the same. It is a drinking game and we've got two videos today. The first one is by a channel called The Weavers Circle Academy, a video that's put up 2 days ago. And I might, depending on how drunk I am, go into a video by Bookshelf Mystic. So, potentially two videos today because they're a bit shorter than your average podcast. I'm drinking a selection of ales, but the first one is the Tropical Ferret IPA with big waves of passion fruit and mango flavours. That could be interesting. So yeah, we're back onto the ales rather than lager, which I'm actually quite happy about today. I'm happy today in general. It's a good day today. Very good day. And, here are the rules, by the way, for drinking. So, we're drinking in fingers. Medipleb. Regular viewers beware, by the way. So drinking fingers. And today's rules, or the rules in general: modern political issues, 2 fingers; character traits, 1 finger; TV show criticism, 4 fingers; 90s reference, 3 fingers; movie talk, 2 fingers; author mention, 1 finger; something wrong, 2 fingers; naughty talk, 2 fingers; and podcast name, 1 finger. And the mention of cinnamon buns is a down your drink moment. Okay, so the first video is called #BookTube Childhood Favourite Animorphs by the Weavers Circle Academy. The description says, I don't think I've ever been as obsessed with the book series as I was with this one, not even Harry Potter. All the images were found... Oh, on my door. Oh, sorry about that little delay. Let's just get straight into it and get drinking. Why not? Let's go!
Hey, my lovelies, and thank you for stopping by the Circle today. This week's...
Wait, what was that? Was that the... Sorry, was that the podcast name? Or the channel? We'll go by channel name.
Greetings, my lovelies, and thank you for stopping by the Circle today. This week's review is one
That wasn't, I don't think.
Again, is a very dear childhood favorite of mine, but I'm extra fucking excited because it's getting a revival in the graphic novel. So to commemorate that, I want to talk about
Animorphs!
Partially the series, but most importantly the first book, The Invasion, by K.A. Applegate.
Author mention, that is our first finger of the day. Drink! Otolu drink 2. And I think that technically counts as podcast name. Even though it wasn't spoken, it was written. So that's another finger. And this is actually quite a nice ale. Tropical Ferret IPA. Drink.
So Animorphs were a science fiction series that came out, God, roughly in the late 90s, early 2000s, I want to say. And if anyone...
That doesn't count as a 90s reference, by the way. Just saying in the 90s doesn't count.
Knows the exact date, please let me know. I'm not going to bother looking it up. It revolves around a group of 5 kids, all racially diverse for the most part, and actually really complex now that I think about it. And an alien invasion, and a bunch of fun things. I think there's like 27 books in the series, or 54. I'll have to pop that number.
That's that's a strange couple of estimations. I think there are 27 or 54. Those numbers are quite far apart.
Up somewhere when I
Yeah, so she got it right there. 6 companion novels.
actually double check because I don't know how. Okay, to be truthful, I don't always script my videos. I just have notes. So when I speak, sometimes it's straight for the notes.
Ad lib. I like ad lib.
Pop out of my mouth.
Cool.
It also had
I like that.
brief run as a TV series with an interesting cast of characters, although I don't think they finished it. I think it was only 1 season, and they really condensed it down. I don't know whatever happened to it, I just remember that it was not that good.
TV show criticism, everyone. That's a 4-finger forfeit. Oh, these drinks might go quickly today. It's only an 11-minute video, so I'm expecting quick fire drinking. So that's 4 fingers. I'm actually starting to regret using these now because it's a really nice drink and I won't be able to savour it, but fuck it. 4 fingers, drink. Right, another one to finish there. Good start to the episode. I like the fact that it's ad-lib. I actually prefer ad-lib to scripted. She presents very well. I don't know her name, and I don't think she mentioned it. One last remaining finger. By the way, if you want to check out her channel or any of her other videos, I'll repeat, it's The Weaver's Circle Academy. I'll leave a link in the description. I'm going to leave a like on this video. It's only got 3 views so far. I think she's relatively a new starter to the whole YouTube game. So please, if you do like her content, please go over and show your support. It takes a fair bit of work to put videos up. It's not an easy thing, and just to get in front of the camera to start with. So yeah, go show your support.
Or it was okay, but I had too much love for the series to ever fully enjoy it as a TV show. It happens sometimes, unfortunately. It's the risk that everyone takes when you adapt a book or to a book series.
I think they made a lot of wrong moves.
But with that being said, let's just go ahead and talk about the premise, some of the rules of this world, and then roll right into the characters. Again, I don't think I can really talk about this as much without giving away some spoilers here and there. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, pause this video.
Go read the books.
Go read at least like the first couple of them so you have a generalized idea. They all kind of follow a similar pattern, and then come back.
I'll recommend that. I will... Oh, hold on. What's this? Chapter 1. Premise and world building. I will say, if you do end up watching this, I do apologise. I don't know your name. I'll just call you Weaver. Weaver. Your audio is quite muffled. I don't know what sort of microphone you're using, but it almost sounds like you're using a computer or a laptop microphone. I really recommend what I've got, which is Rode lanyard microphone. It's this thing on me here. Gives really good sound quality. Even just your regular, you don't have to go for Rode, which are one of the better brands, but proper lanyard microphone, stick it on your top and you get really nice crisp recording audio quality. So yeah, I'd love to see you improve that audio. Let's go.
Basically, in a nutshell, Animorph is 5 kids who are granted the ability to shapeshift into animals by a blue alien centaur who eats with his feet.
Yep.
Dun da da! Try to picture that.
That old cliched trope.
Earth is being invaded by a set of mind-controlling slugs called Yerks. We don't find out until very much later on with like these last like 4 huge fucking books, kind of like how everything got started. But basically the 2 main aliens that are kind of battling each other are the Andalites, which are these blue centaur creatures that eat.
That's a Char Reed picture. Great art. I believe it's a... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a Char Reed. Excellent artist.
Their feet, and these mind-controlling slugs that have to leave their host body every 3 days to soak up their nutrients from their primordial ooze pools. But there's a lot of other cool aliens as well. So when these kids touch the animal, they can absorb its DNA and they can turn into it. Not only can they turn into it, but they do sort of take on some of the traits of the animals. So if you're a lizard and you see a roach, that roach is going to start to look yummy to you. But that can be kind of gross in certain situations when you like regain your human consciousness. But also when you're in animal form, you can telepathically communicate to your friends. The downside to this ability is that you have to turn back to your original form in 2 hours.
True.
Or you are stuck in that form forever. And that's pretty much the series in a nutshell. These kids go on adventures trying to fight these aliens without getting caught and live their normal lives, and they just keep it. I can't even begin to explain it. Every book featured one of the kids that's like that.
Oh, by the way, you might notice that sometimes I do that. I bring up OBS to check that it's working. Soon, I'm hoping to get a second screen, so we won't have that problem anymore. It'll solve a whole load of problems. And also, I'm getting a man in to repair my computer's audio input problem, which will make live streaming, hopefully, much easier and it'll have much better quality. So look forward to these things in the new year.
Their main protagonist, they used to have like these little animal flip books at the bottom of it where you flipped it one way and they transformed in the creature and you flipped it the other way and they went back to human. They're not very big. They seemed a lot larger when I was a kid, but then again I was a kid, but now I think they're only like maybe 100 or so pages. But it's an awesome series. Please don't take my word for it. I do feel like I'm doing it an injustice, but there's so much in it that I can't even begin to describe it. So let me go ahead and just jump right into the characters because I can ramble on forever.
Okay, let's do it. Chapter 2, characters, I imagine. Characters!
So the 5 kids who...
You're going to talk about Jolfamy Selpic, my favouriteest character. Jolfamy Selpic. Best character in the series. And if you disagree with me, you're drinking 5 fingers. Do it.
gain the ability to turn into animals are Jake, who ends up being like the leader. His brother Tom is one of the yurt-controlled people.
Mm-hmm.
At first we think he did it willingly, but then we find out later that he isn't, and he's like, yes.
No, there was never a point where we thought he did it willingly. There was the uncertainty. There was never the moment of we think he did it willingly. It was always a case of, did he or did he not? And it was answered in the first book. So why she's bringing up book 11? Maybe it's to talk about something else. Otherwise, I'm going to have to drink for something wrong.
We have Rachel, who...
It's a something wrong. It's not like 100% wrong. It's just sort of erring on the side of wrong. They didn't think that he was a willing controller. They just didn't know if he wasn't. So I'm drinking to that. That's 2 fingers. Drink.
Is Jake's cousin. She's tall, blonde, athletic, but she's not like a girly girl. She's kind of like a tomboy. She kind of has a crush on Tobias, who is this poor kid. He's sort of down on his luck, and he spends most of the series as a hawk because...
Spends most of the series as a hawk. So Americans say hawk. A hawk. A hockey puck.
Unfortunately, in the first book, he gets stopped. We have Marco, who is Jake's best friend and serves as a comic relief.
Oh, by the way, oh, no. Let's go back. I'm sensing more fingers required here because I'm completely skipping over the character traits forfeits. Let's go.
Yurt-controlled people. At first, we think he did it willingly, but then we find out later that he...
Yeah, that's definitely wrong.
Yes. We have Rachel, who is Jake's cousin. She's tall, blonde, athletic, but she's not like a girly girl. She's kind of like a tomboy. She kind of has a crush on Tobias, who is this poor kid. He's sort of down on his luck. And
We've got 1 finger for Jake's leadership. I'm listening out for other forfeits of this nature.
he spends most of the...
Because Rachel's forfeit is talk about her impulsiveness, which she didn't mention. Tobias is emo.
series as a hawk because unfortunately in the first book he gets stopped. We have Marco, who...
His is jokes, so if she mentions anything about like humour, that's going to count.
is Jake's best friend and serves as a comic relief.
There we go.
His family situation is kind of rocky because his mom died, and he spends a lot of the series kind of bouncing back and forth of whether or not he wants to do it or not, because he doesn't want to cause his dad any more pain and suffering, because his dad really kind of took a dive when the mom died, but there's not much he can really do, because if he doesn't fight, then his dad's going to end up a slave. And then we have Cassie.
Saying that his mother died. That was the suspicion, but the fact that she didn't say the thought that she died, but actually she was still alive, makes it technically a something wrong. So now up to 4 fingers. I'm waiting because Cassie's forfeit for character trait is nature lover. So let's see if she says anything about that.
Who is the vet. Well, her parents are vets. She's the most gifted and shifting. When she does it, it actually looks good, not freaky. Because for the rest of them, it's like, you know, some H.P. Lovecraft mess. But for her, it's like, oh, that's pretty. You made yourself look like an angel. We do in the later series have a couple other characters, but I don't want to talk about them just yet, because I might be able to do this entire series kind of as it comes out. Like I said, it is getting redone as a graphic novel, which is why I'm rebuying them and rereading them again, because nostalgia. And thank you so much, Chris, for letting me know that it was becoming a comic. I just bought the book too. So
yeah, awesome.
On to the big bads.
Right, so that's 4 fingers. So we had Jake's leadership, Marco's jokes. There's nothing mentioned about Cassie being a nature lover. Mentioned that her parents were vets, but that's not saying Cassie's a nature lover. And there were 2 fingers for... Was it a something wrong? Yeah. Because she said that Marco's mum had died, which was the suspicion of the father, but she didn't actually die. And there wasn't a clarification on the fact that she hadn't died. So I'm going to count that as something wrong. So we're up to 4 fingers. I've got 1 finger left of this, and we're going to move on to another ale. Drink if you haven't already. What's next? Ease Up IPA. I want to thank my friend Lockie because he got me these drinks. I've also got Whitstable Bay. But now I'm going to drink Adnams Ease Up IPA. Now, I've drunk Adnams before, I believe, for some of these videos. It was Adnams Ghost Ship, which was one of my favourite drinks. So I wonder what Ease Up IPA is going to be like. Adnams is a brewery in Southwold. Hence Adnams Southwold. Fucking come on, Adam. Fucking behave. So I've got to drink 3 fingers of this. I hope you're all doing well, by the way. It's a good day. I've had a good day at work. It's a Friday. Coming into the weekend. There's been good news all around. I'm very, very happy today. And to share it with you is absolutely ruddy brilliant. Ruddy brilliant. We're over halfway through this video, so I suspect we'll be able to move on to the second video I have lined up. But yeah, I'm enjoying this video content by Weaver. Weaver's Circle Academy, if I remember correctly. Weaver, I would love to see you do more. And subscribers to me, I recommend you go check out Weaver and nag her. Say, do more Animorphs, because we want to see more. And if you're not going to do that, then you're drinking a fucking 4 fingers extra. Yeah? In fact, do it anyway. 4 fingers, and then go check out Weaver's channel. 3 fingers. I've got to do another 3 fingers. Let's have a quick. Let's just have a sip of this. See what it's like. Adnams Ease Up IPA. Let's give it a try. Thing is, when you go from one ale to another, sometimes you get a really stark contrast in taste. But they're both IPAs, and they're not too much different. And I quite like it. It's not my favourite. My favourite drink, if you want to know. I mean, I really like Ghost Ship, which is an Adnams one. But I also like Dent Brewery's Aviator, which they brew up in the lakes, up in Cumbria. Or Yorkshire, I think, actually. Dent Brewery's Aviator. A fantastic drink. Right, 2 more things of this. Drink.
So our main big bag is called Vizier 3, and he's the only Yeerk to ever possess an Andalite body. All of the rest of them sort of fill in either humans, or these slug things, or these razor creatures that are actually docile. They just live in like a wooded forest area, so like all the razors help them climb and chop wood and whatnot. And then we have the primary, who is the kid's vice principal. Now he is one of the few people that is a volunteer, although we do find his reason out for volunteering later, so don't fill him with all the hate mail just yet.
Hate mail. Oh, Chapman was so hard done by the series. So that's one of the actual worst parts of the entire Animal series. One of the things that I hate the most. There are a few things, right? If I were to list some of the things that I didn't like about the Animal series, it would be the constant Deus Ex Machina. It happens a lot. What else didn't I... The Chapman stuff I didn't like. What else didn't I like about this series? Those are the 2 main ones. There's nothing else that's like consistently something I don't like. I don't think. I love the series. It's my favourite fucking series. Of course, I'm not going to have too much to complain about, but those are the two big ones off the top of my head. The way they treated Chapman was, as far as I'm concerned, pretty disgusting. And the constant Deus Ex Machina.
Yet, however, he is sort of like the main antagonist for the kids because one of the entrances to like the yurts.
No, I'm going to say that this is wrong. He was maybe the main antagonist for... No, he never was. Vista 3 was always the main antagonist. Always. From book 1, he was the main antagonist. Chapman was... He was barely even a secondary antagonist. He was just sort of there. He was just sort of the placeholder for Yerk up to no good. So I'm going to count this as something wrong unless she changes her mind here. Because remember, she's ad-lib.
Layers is under the schools, and the kids kind of fuck it up on the regular. They're constantly trying to mess with these places. They try to destroy these pools, disrupt like building of things, because if the yurts can't feed every 3 days in that primordial soup of theirs, they die. Through the course of things, they do realize that they possibly may be children, and so they have to like play this cat and mouse game with their assistant principal. It's all very entertaining. Those are kind of the main characters, at least just...
Yeah, I'm going to count, because you said he was the main antagonist. No. That's 2 fingers. Weaver, if you're watching, you drink as well. Join in the fun. Come on, I'm enjoying your content. 2 fingers, drink.
With the first book, so let me go ahead and give you my final thoughts. I can't talk about my final thoughts of this singular book, but because it is an initial book and I have problems and issues with initial books, they're fine. I'm not a fan of them because it's a lot of setup
exposition.
And building, but it is, in this one it's very engaging. And I love the characters. They feel like real kids. Middle school kids. They talk like middle school kids. They have the same worries as middle school kids. The relationship among the siblings and the cousins and just the overall friend groups are great. God, these are some really good written characters.
They are.
The state...
For the most part. There is... I'm near the end of the series, and just looking at some of the way these characters finish off, their arcs aren't that great. But for example, Jake his character arc is phenomenal. Just what happens with him is excellent, absolutely excellent. And even Rachel, who's had some pretty shocking books in the series, by the end, you think, actually, that's a pretty good character arc. But then you get someone like Axe, who seems to have a character arc, but by the end just like, no, not really. It's just he's a one-trick pony. He's a one-trick Andalite.
Are always high in every single book, and you really do feel for them. And the one thing I do like, especially with this book, that's kind of maybe different for other ones of the time period, is that they don't jump right into wanting to be like these superheroes.
Yeah, I like that.
They're like, we're kids. Like, that's their initial reaction. We're kids, man. We can't fight wars. We're kids. I have a math test tomorrow. Like, they are very realistic in that, like, refusal of the Call of Duty. And it's not like some selfish, for reasons. It's just like literally like they're children, and you don't think children are gung-ho to fight an alien invasion. They actually have spent a good amount of time, wondering whether or not they're actually going to do it, or should they go to the police and show them. But then, like, of course, things happen and they end up accepting the charge by the end of the book. Again, love the series, obsessed with the series. I'm so happy it's coming back, and I love it as a graphic novel because honestly, with all the shape-shifting, it's really made for it. It's honestly made for it. Well, that is all that I have for you guys today. If you ever read the Animorphs or anything of the similar nature science fiction wise, let me know, drop a comment. I typically read a lot of fantasy. Occasionally I will have science fiction. It's not my forte, it's not like my cookies and cream or whatever, but sometimes I find some really good gems in there. And what are your feelings about an older series being adapted into a graphic novel for a newer generation?
My thoughts are, I am happy. It's not perfect, but god damn it, we haven't had anything for about 20 years. I am very happy with getting some new stuff. I'm actually over the moon about it.
Do you think it's just a cash grab by the author, or do you think...
No, because the author doesn't own it. By the way, that's author mention. Not by name, but mentioning it. That's one finger. Drink.
It's a fresh and new way to present an amazing story to the next generation? I'm actually really interested on that question. But if you have any book, manga, comic, whatever that you would like for me to review, go ahead and drop a comment down below, and on your way out, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I post videos roughly every week, mostly on Wednesdays, but anytime really generalized throughout the week, because life's crazy sometimes and I just don't make the deadline. And if you want to see what else I'm doing around the world and the interweb, just go ahead and follow my social media links. All of them, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Go check her out.
TikTok. So that is all that I have for you. I do hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you all next time. Bye. And before you leave, don't forget to mark your calendars for January 18th, 2022.
Your audio sounds better there, but that was lovely. Absolutely lovely. In fact, I'm going to subscribe. The Weavers Circle Academy. Okay. Weaver. Firstly, it would be great to know what your first name is. I'd love to see your audio improved. But by God, you've clearly got the skill and the charm to do ad-lib videos. Fantastic. You can speak off the cuff. It's obvious. You've got a natural ability to do that. I would love to see you do more Animorphs. I really would, because you're good. Just have a look into new microphones, because if you got that, you'd be right on the ball. Right on the ball. And anybody watching, please go tell her that. In fact, I'm going to write a comment now. What should I write? I'll just put, would love to see you more Animorphs content. Keep up the good work. There we go. Done. So if you do the same as well, let's give her the encouragement. Why the hell not? Let's get more Animorphs content out there. Be a force for good in the Animorphs community. Go there and say what I've said. Because she can clearly do ad-lib. She's got the skills to do this. Fucking awesome. Right? So, I've only gone through 1.5 pints. We've got plenty enough time to look at this video, which is by Bookshelf Mystic. And she's doing Animorphs numbers 6 to 10, cycle 2. Books, book reviews and discussion. So I've seen the first one, where she did books 1 to 5, and I enjoyed it. She's doing the books in the cycles. So let's have a look at this one and be ready for a podcast mention. The name of the thing is Bookshelf Mystic. So if that gets mentioned, that's an immediate one finger. Let's go. And as with the last one, it's in type, so that counts. That's one finger. Let's go. Drink.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bookshelf Mystic. I'm recording
That's another mention. So that's another finger. Drink.
this video on Independence Day, and there's nothing more American than everyone's favorite children's series from the 90s, Animorphs. So today I'm going to be continuing my video series on Animorphs. If you haven't seen my first video, I'll link it in the description below. And as a
By the way, both these videos were done very recently. This one was actually released yesterday. So I'm in with the new stuff. I'm down with the kids. Once again, I don't know your name. I don't want to be rude. Bookshelf Miss. Is there an about section which gives your name? Slow reader and a fast talker. Okay, I like it. You don't give your name. I'll just call you Bookshelf.
Reminder, I will be discussing some spoilers for the specific books I'm talking about today, but not for the series as a whole. So if you're reading along or you just don't want to get spoilers for the whole series, never fear. But do make sure, if you do care about spoilers in these books, wait till you read them before you watch this video. Also in this video, I'm going to be starting individual book ratings for each book in the series. So for this video, I'll be discussing Animorphs 6 through 10, including the first Megamorphs book. So
Awesome.
I'll talk through each of these books individually, give you my rating, and wrap up with a few thoughts about the series as a whole so far.
The Capture.
First off is book number 6, The Capture. This book is narrated by Jake, and it's the one where he gets captured by Yeerks. I don't know why, but I never really liked this book. I think a lot of people find that it's one of the best.
You are getting on the wrong side of history, young lady. You can't say that. Wrong opinion, because it doesn't agree with mine.
Early books in the series, and I can understand why they see that. You get to see what it's like to actually be enslaved by a Yeerk, which really drives home the horror of the enemy that the Animorphs are facing. And the plot is really different than the standard Animorphs find out.
It was a fine book. It's a really good book.
And it goes either well or poorly, and they get out of there with their lives. It really takes a turn about 2/3 of the way through when Jake gets infested by a Yeerk. But for some reason, I just find this book tedious. It takes about 2/3 of the book to get to the point where Jake is enslaved by a Yeerk. And when it finally does happen, the Yeerk is just so stereotypically one-dimensionally evil. This is probably...
Definitely not to the degree of Visser 3 evil. I mean, everyone has... I tend to... Put it this way. I don't like Harry Potter. And the reason I don't like Harry Potter is because I think the villains are very one-dimensional. They're just sort of your mustache-twirling villains. One of my bigger gripes about Animorphs... I should add it to my... So, my big... Alright, let's add to the list, right. Deus Ex Machina, Chapman's handling, and the fact that Visser 3 is your typical mustache-twirling villain without any real redeeming qualities. I don't like that. I like a villain with a reason to be a villain, not without that reason just being villainy itself. I like nuanced villainy. You know, someone who is clearly a villain, who you don't like, but you can understand why they've got to that point, and there's a reason behind it. And Visser 3 does not fall into that category.
Because these are still purportedly children's books, and you expect to see that kind of good versus bad dichotomy in children's books. It makes it much easier to explain, you know, why there's this conflict and why the main characters are fighting against
that's fair enough.
bad guys. And therefore it's possible to justify the violence that these Animorphs inflict upon not only the Yeerks, but the host bodies. But it's still just cartoonishly villainous. It's a little bit much. I did enjoy the coldness of the rest of the Animorphs to the Jake controller as they wait for the Yeerk to starve over 3 days and die. I thought they were unexpectedly great at...
I thought they did really well in that one.
But, I don't know, the book as a whole just doesn't really do it for me. I acknowledge that it's a good entry in the series, but I didn't find it that entertaining.
Oh, come on, bookshelf. No. You're disagreeing with me, which means you're disagreeing with reality. I'm sorry.
For that reason, I will give The Capture 3 out of 5 stars.
I wonder what she would give book 37.
Next we have number 7, The Stranger, which is narrated by Rachel. As much as I didn't like number 6, I love number 7.
Oh, come
I
on!
hardly remembered it from my previous reads, but this is a book where Rachel's family
This is verging on a something wrong forfeit.
issues come front and center. Her dad is moving away from the city and asks Rachel to come with him, setting up this central conflict of both Rachel's family drama and going to miss her dad, and also a chance to escape from the responsibilities of being an Animorph. It's really powerful how her feelings about her dad moving away are just as strong as her feelings about battling the Yeerks and taking on the threat facing Earth. It's just so human and so teenage to feel like your problems are just as big as these other ones, and that's not a bad thing. I think it really sets her up as an extremely sympathetic character. It's really heartbreaking how she wants to lean into that raw instinct and raw power of the grizzly bear morph just to forget about all of the problems that she has as a human. Despite her Xena Warrior Princess act, which she is starting to embody more and more each time we encounter a book narrated by her,
It's that kind of impulsiveness. I never watched Xena Warrior Princess, so I can't comment.
she still has all of this anger and PTSD to deal with on the inside, and she just doesn't know how to. I mean, she's only a teenager. We don't actually know how old they are, but I wasn't facing any Yerks when I was a teenager, and I still had issues to deal with.
I was. I fought the Yerks when I was only 3 years old. I tells ye. I fought the Yerks. Now fucking no one believes me.
And then in the middle of this fight, as she's already faced with this choice of moving away with her dad and running away from the Animorphs, all of the Animorphs get a parallel choice. The Ellimist shows up and gives them a way out of fighting. Just as the Animorphs ultimately decide not to do this, Rachel ultimately decides not to go with her dad, but the emotional arc of the story is really enhanced by these two parallel threads. Plus, we get to meet the Ellimist, which is one of my all-time favorite aspects of the Animorphs universe.
No, we've got all of this amounts to something wrong, which is two fingers, which finishes off my pint. Nah, if you're gonna say the capture's not great, and then you're gonna say the stranger is better, and then you're gonna say the Ellimist is one of your favourite characters, nah, that's a something wrong, forfeit. I'm sorry, bookshelf. I'm sorry. Drink.
Universe. I can't wait till I get to the Ellimist Chronicles, which I think is going to be about 50 books down the road. That is one of my very favorite books in this series.
I will admit, though, the Ellimist Chronicles is a very good book.
And the Ellimist is just cool. It lends this extra dimension of science fiction to Animorphs. It's no longer just an alien story. It's now about these demigods fighting over the soul of the universe. It's elevated to a more mystical plane, one with questions about fate and destiny, as well as those questions about morality and violence that we'll encounter later in this video. So my overall rating for The Stranger is 5 out of 5.
5 out of fucking 5? I'm tempted to drink another something wrong. Right, okay. When she eventually gets to it, the weakness. If she rates it anything more than a 1, I'm actually going to sue you, bookshelf.
This is easily the best book of the series so far.
Oh, fucking... By the way, this is nothing against your channel or your content. I'm enjoying it. I'm just having a bit of banter with you. But number 7, the best of the series so far. Ooh. Cringe. On that note, by the way, on that facetious note, if you like this content, she's actually done. She's obviously done books 1 to 5 review. Bookshelf Mystic. Go check her out. By the looks of it, she does ad lib as well because she's talking, but her eyes aren't moving as if she's reading. So I'm imagining if it's not fully ad lib, it's note ad lib. Which is sort of what I do. You know, I talk ad lib, but I also put a few notes up just to make sure that I'm going along the right lines roughly. But she's, again, a good speaker. She's got good audio. Let's have a look at her camera quickly.
All right.
If you're watching this Bookshelf Mystic, I always make sure that my eyes... So on my cameras, it's split into a grid, a 9-space grid. So it's split into thirds both ways. I make sure that my eyes are 2/3 up the screen. So if your eyes were a bit further up, because you look a bit low on the screen, you're positioned nicely, horizontally. But I think if you just lowered... I mean, you might do this in other videos, I don't know. But if you just lowered the camera a little bit, because there's a lot of what essentially amounts to empty space above you. So just a couple of inches, just raise yourself in the camera view. And you've obviously got a light over on this side coming in from your left-hand side as you're looking at the camera, which is very bright. I think it can do with, I'm not sure if you've got a softener like I've got, which softens the light a bit, means there's less shadow, but it's a bit overexposed on your left-hand side. I'm not sure what video software you use, but you can do it in editing. I do photo and video as my job. But what I do, people might get confused about what my job role is, because I say that I do a lot, and I do a lot. I work at a college, essentially, that deals with special needs kids, but we also have a place for veterans. So we deal with special need kids. We do some adult work as well, but we also have a veterans place. And I am the media person. So I do the website handling. I do the photo and video. So I'm constantly bouncing between these groups, picking up media stuff. And I've got my own personal studio, which is where all this comes from. And yeah, I do all the media and video work. And I started working there about 1.5 years ago. And before that, I did it all as a hobby because I was in the Navy. So when I wasn't doing stuff with the Navy, I was doing video stuff and filming football games and all that sort of stuff as well. So I've had a lot of practice. I was an amateur, but now I'm employed to do this stuff, which is why I get so embarrassed when I fuck up on like live streams. That's why I get so embarrassed, because I'm like, I should be able to do this. I do this for a fucking living. So when I watch these videos, Bookshelf, I'm sorry I have to call you Bookshelf, but I don't know your real name. I feel like I'm trying to be helpful when I'm saying, I'm giving you these little tips. So your light on your left it's overexposed. So the bit on your left side of your face, that's all white. That's like basically pure white. And you're covered in shadow on the right hand side, and there's quite a distinct shadow mark over your face. So if you've got, like, because I've got soft boxes for lighting, which helps to soften that glow. Maybe bring down the exposure in the editing software just a little bit. I think your audio is fine.
The next book that we come to chronologically.
Yeah, your audio is fine, which was the problem. I say problem, but the thing that could have been improved in Weaver's video was the audio. Your lighting is pretty good. Weaver, if you're watching, I think with your lighting, it could, because I'm not. It looks like you're lit from the front. It's nice to, like what I'm doing now. I've got light predominantly from one side, but I've also got a light over there, which is giving me a sort of back glow. So my face isn't wholly lit up. There's a little bit of shadow on this side of my face, but not too much that it's obvious. That's my fiance, so that's going to be 2 fingers for me. Just give me a sound. I'm talking stuff. So we've got 2 videos here. So this one here, I think you could do a little something with the lighting Bookshelf and with the positioning on the camera. So just raise yourself and work on the light positioning. Maybe it's too close to you. And Weaver, maybe move the light from, just slightly move it to one side. So there's just the slightest hint of shadow. It makes it feel more 3D. Right, I'm going to nip to the lav. And then I've got 2 fingers to drink because of my fiance. And then I'll be right back. Right, my fiance texted. Is that even a word? Texted. Just doesn't sound right. Now I've got to drink 2 more fingers. I've got Whitstable Bay, which is from... Where's it from? Oh, Faversham Steam Brewery. No, it's not an IPA. Superbly balanced with smooth, malty and hop flavours. So I'm expecting something a bit different from the IPAs. Oh, yeah, I can smell that. That's a bit different. Whitstable Bay. I hope I don't get a down your drink and me. Oh, that head exploded. Fuck me. Oh, once that's settled down, I'll drink those 2 fingers. But yeah, to the 2 people here, so Bookshelf and Weaver. I'd love for you to. I mean, you don't have to take my hints on board because I'm not I don't have qualifications in this. I just work in this field, so I wouldn't call myself a professional videographer. And I make mistakes, obviously. And when I do my videos, it's literally just a case of put up 2 softbox lights, position the camera, and go, because I don't have time to fuck around too much. But I'd love to see you both like really pick up an audience and really get into this Animorphs thing, because I want more people talking about Animorphs. I really do. Obviously, I have my thoughts of I want to be, you know, one of the bigger Animorphs YouTubers. That's natural, and that's the selfish part of me. But the reasonable part of me knows that the more Animorphs fans we have talking about Animorphs, the better it is for the Animorphs fan base. So, take my hints on board if you so wish, and don't if you don't so wish. I'm just trying to help. And I'm happy to take advice from you as well, of course. We're all friends. So, what was the 2 fingers for? Oh, for my fiance texting me. In fact, she put a question mark, so I've got to respond. Apparently I missed a video call. Right, if she wants to call me, she'll call back, and that'll mean another 2 fingers. But let's first have a sip of this Whitstable Bay. Okay. Definitely a different taste to the other 2. Not bad. Not bad. Probably not one of my favourite types of ale, but it's fine. By the way, go check out Bookshelf Mystic. The link will be in the description. I've just described and left a like on the video, so do as well. Go check her out, and let's carry on. I'll continue drinking my 2 fingers as we carry on. No, I don't want to unsubscribe. What the hell's going on? There we go.
Logically is Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift. If Animorph books are episodes of a TV show, Megamorphs are Saturday morning 2-parter specials. Because it's a longer book, and it's narrated by everyone in the squad, we get to explore a lot more of a plot, and we get to see the action from a variety of points of view. And it's a lot of fun. Just like a Saturday morning 2-parter, the stakes and the amount of action that happens during Megamorphs #1 is much more than the other books. It's one of those episodes that feels like something special's happening. First of all, Rachel loses her memory and spends most of the book trying to figure out who she is. At the same time, a morph energy-eating monster is chasing all of the Animorphs, and it takes a while to figure out what exactly is going on. There are plentiful chase scenes, plentiful action sequences, lots of...
I didn't really like this book very much.
Morphing,
of course.
Stealing Cassie's dad's truck. Well, the Animorphs look for Rachel while simultaneously figuring out what this threat is and how to defeat it. It's also occasionally hilarious. While this entry does not give us the same morality and introspection as some of the others in the series, it's exciting and it's swashbuckling and it's a lot of fun.
Swashbuckling, so good word. Oh, no, fucking what? 5 stars. I'm going to rage my freaking nipples off. I can't believe it. You stop this woman. Stop this woman. 5 stars. You gave the capture 3 stars. And you're going to give that one 5. Disappointed. Disappointed, Bookshelf. How could you do this? How could you do this? Madness. Madness. Why would you give this one 5 stars? What? You're just being contradictory for the sake of contradiction.
I am also giving this book 5 out of 5 stars.
5. Ridiculous. The Alien.
Next we have The Alien, which is our first book narrated by Axe. The bad news about The Alien is that the plot is kind of flimsy.
What was the plot again? It was the one where he goes to the big satellite dish and
Good news is that this book is hilarious. We also learn a lot about Andalite society and the nature of these aliens that we'd previously thought of as extraterrestrial saviors.
Yep.
Really kind of a bunch of dicks. And we can learn about
Yeah,
lore and world.
I like that. I'm going to drink to that. And you will too. Especially you. Who's gonna drink extra today? It's been a while since we did one of these just straightforward podcast review, non-live videos. When was the last one? We're gonna find a victim. A victim. I've had too many comments. Stop bloody commenting. You're making my work difficult. Raptor stuff, book reviews. Jesus Christ! I've started doing polls, by the way. Remember to vote on them. Thank you for those who do. Surprised at how many people do actually. It's quite fun. All right, where's the last podcast reaction thing? Bloody hell! It's been a while actually. By the looks of things, I get comments on all sorts of. Oh, Turler, you've commented. I'll take that. I took that review, that comment on whatever I'm going to say. Hello, Torren. Oh, what? Hellbound? What the frick? Oh, bloody advertisements. Oh, yeah, that was when I did the Torren one. Dragon Trainer and Sergeant Sega. You will drink extra today. You will drink extra. Because I said so. Right. Sergeant. What was it for again? What was this?
More of that lore and world building that's really happening through this entire set of books. The plot is basically that Axe wants to contact the Andalites through a nearby...
Oh, she said Andalites were dicks, so I'm going to drink... We will all drink one finger to the banter. And Dragon Trainer, assuming you're of age... Right, okay. If you're of age, you will drink 5 fingers. If you are not of age, you will do 20 press-ups. That's the deal. Do it now. Drink, everyone.
Observatory. He accidentally rewrites some software that gives humans this huge technological advantage, which is very against the law in Andalite society. So he has to both contact his homeworld and delete the software. He succeeds at both, but in doing so, encounters a Yeerk who has this vendetta against Visser 3 for some reason. And they strike a deal. Axe gets to go off free, and the Yeerk will tell them the whereabouts of Visser 3's grazing spot, so that they can ostensibly strike while they know where he is vulnerable. So Axe goes to this clearing, morphs a rattlesnake, tries to kill the Visser, and it doesn't work. Interestingly, they do get to talk to Alaran, who is the Andalite host of Visser 3, and Alaran asks Axe to kill him, which is honestly a very smart thing to do, although gruesome, but Axe refuses. Seeing as they had no qualms about killing other controllers when the Yeerks are in them, and they are trying to kill Visser 3 while he is in the Andalite, I don't really understand why this choice was made, but Andalite honor something. So the plot was okay, nothing special, but we have so many hilarious Axe moments in this that the book really makes up for the flimsy plot. Axe becoming Marco's friend, no. Axe sitting in on Cassie's family dinner pretending to be Jake made me laugh out loud. He's an endearing goof that's trying to be serious, but he just can't fit into human society, and he's really just a kid too. Seeing him try to be a human, pointing out all of the weird things about human society at the same time as trying to fit in is top-notch. He also realizes by the end of the book
I think we got an axe cluelessness character trait here. So that counts as one finger. Drink.
that while his family and his culture might be Andalite, his friends are humans, and he's going to do what he can to help save Earth. So I give this book 4 out of 5 stars.
Fair score. Right, 9, The Secret. I actually quite like this book because it's the first time we really got to know Cassie. I get the suspicious feeling that Bookshelf isn't going to like it. And I will be very sad.
Next we have number 9, The Secret, which is another Cassie book. If you saw my last video, you would know I love Cassie books, and this one was no exception.
Oh, yeah!
Now that she is
I was
resolved
wrong.
whether or not it's okay to morph a sentient creature, she now needs to come to terms with the kill or be killed laws of nature. Her main moral anxiety comes in 2 forms in this book. First, she's forced to kill the queen of a termite colony in order to save herself and her friends. And she wonders if that was the right thing to do, since the termites really didn't mean any harm to the Animorphs. And secondly, why is it that she's finding herself care so much about this family of baby skunks? The two are really tied together in this ultimate question that she asks herself, which is, if nature is really all about just killing or being killed, about the strongest surviving, should the humans just give up and stop fighting the Yeerks? Since the Yeerks are clearly stronger, isn't it the law of nature that humans should just submit? Of course, she resolves this dilemma throughout the course of the book and realizes that, while the strong may overpower the weak, that's no reason to stop fighting. She uses the...
Because Cassie's character trait forfeit is nature lover. I think we're bordering on it. Let's see how far this goes.
family of baby skunks as this symbol of the compassion and the caring that you can still exhibit even in the face of the laws of the jungle.
Right, I'm going to consider a character trait forfeit. That's 1 finger. Was I say Dragon Trainer or Sergeant Sega last time got the extra forfeit? Both of you. Both of you drink 3 fingers while the rest of us drink 1. Because I forgot who got the extra forfeit last time. Both of you drink extra.
It's extremely heartwarming how the rest of the Animorphs agree to help her take care of this family, even though they don't really understand why she's doing it. They see it's something that she has to do in order to live with herself.
Not a bad drink, by the way, Whitstable Bay. Not bad. I know that most of my audience is American. These are all British drinks. If you ever come over here, remember my recommendations. So my first would be, obviously, Adnam's Ghost Ship. But if, I've got a few here. If you like the sound of any that I talk, drink, just fucking carry on.
And they're there for her. The termite morph was also a delightful bit of body horror. Imagine being tiny, blind, your mind being taken over by this outside influence of the termite queen that you're almost powerless to resist. Then imagine having to chop the head off of said termite queen and bust yourself out of a piece of wood by morphing into a human in the middle of it. It's gross, it's great, it's a wonderful piece of science fiction. I will say the ending of this book, I think universally, is known to suck. This comedic ending of spraying the viscer with stone
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest ending.
and telling him to bathe in grape juice. It really doesn't fit the rest of the tone of the book.
I agree with that,
Not
I
everything
think.
about a book can be great. I think the rest of it nearly makes up for the terrible ending, but even for that, I'll still just give this book 4 out of 5.
Oh, that's a fair score. I'm happy with that. For the first time, Bookshelf, I'm
And the
happy.
last book that I read for this chunk is number 10, The Android,
I gave this one a 10 out of 10. Great book.
which is narrated by Marco. This is the book I remember being really violent, and I was not wrong. Marco starts to show himself as ruthless and willing to do whatever it takes to win and get his family back. He unhesitatingly agrees that the Chi should unshackle themselves from their peaceful programming so that they can help in the fight against the Yeerks. And he daydreams about hurting controllers, not just the Yeerks, but the host bodies themselves, which is quite, honestly, frightening. And all of this ruthlessness kind of culminates in this blackout bloodshed fight that Marco, in no small part, is responsible for, where Eric, newly released from his peaceful bonds, slaughters an entire room, Yerk and Controller alike, to save the Andalites. Marco sees what this lust for violence can achieve.
That's the problem with ad-lib. Sometimes you get it wrong.
But does it change the way that he looks at things? We'll see throughout the rest of the series. Again, my best girl Cassie is the lone voice of dissent when the Animorphs are deciding whether or not to help the Chi reprogram themselves. She goes along with the group decision because she sees no other choice, but she doesn't make the decision lightly. This is why it's so important to have Cassie in the group, to prevent the Andalites from going full steam ahead on these...
Stop calling them the Andalites bookshelf, you rapscallion.
ruthless plans. We've got another iconic scene that I remember vividly in this one, which is the wild flight through the pitch black room filled with wires to find the Pemalite crystal in the center. And the fight to get out is indeed super bloody, even by violent Animorph standards. Marco gets his guts ripped out, Axe loses an arm from his real body, not even a morph. And as Marco loses consciousness and Eric comes in to finish the slaughter, we get this remarkable piece of letting the reader's imagination tell more of a story than the author ever could. As Marco comes to, he's out in the woods.
Author mention, not by name, but by implication. That's one thing. Drink.
Eric has just saved their lives, and Marco looks over at the building that they have just fought their way out of, and he says, "I had a very bad feeling about what was on the other side of that glass." Largely, this episode is very serious, although it is bookended by this joyfulness that is experienced by dogmorphs. And
somebody, Marcus, just followed me on Instagram. Thank you for following me on Instagram. Animorphs_thoughts on Instagram. Go find it.
Dogs, generally. We're meant to see dogs, which are the embodiment of the Pemalites' peaceful society, as this counterpoint to the bloodshed and violence that was experienced throughout the rest of the book. It's a strong counterpoint, and it's heartbreaking knowing that the Animorphs can't just stay in this peaceful society, these dog morphs, forever. They have to morph back and do what they have to do to stop the Yerks. We're getting pretty dark here, aren't we? My rating for this
Getting there.
is 4 out of 5.
Yeah, good score. Good score. Great book. Fun stats.
In my last video, I mentioned I'm tracking some stats throughout the book, specifically the number of morphs that each Animorph has obtained by the point in the series. So some stats so far, for those interested. Cassie has the most morphs right now at 18.
Bloody, really? 18? Bloody hell, I didn't know that.
Actually know how many morphs Axe had before he came to Earth.
I think it was pretty much established that he only got the shark morph.
Tobias obviously has the fewest. He's got 2. Interestingly, he was actually the first Animorph to morph into something. He morphed a cat at the beginning of book 1. Now, of course, he's stuck in his hawk morph forever.
Poor old Tobias.
7 and 8 in this chunk of books that I read were the 2 books with just 1 new morph each. Rachel's grizzly bear in book 7 and Axe's rattlesnake in book 8.
Overall thoughts?
So this wraps up my second installment of the Animorphs series review. Overall, this set of books got much more into the world building and much more into the horrors and the moral quandaries of war. I thought this set was more evolved than the first 5. Probably because the first 5 were still really setting up the characters in the setting. The Stranger is the best book in the series so far.
Oh, come on. No! How is The Stranger the best? Oh.
And
Bookshelf.
I relate to Cassie, even though I know she's a controversial figure. See you all in my next installment for books 11 through 15 and the Andalite Chronicles.
Right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And yeah, that is Bookshelf Mystic. Go check her out on YouTube if you liked it. And she says she's going to do more. So go fucking follow her. And if you don't, then you're going to fucking drink some more, aren't you? Fucking do it, lads and lasses. Fucking drink. You're scumbags. Go check out these people that I've looked at today. It's been good fun from Weaver and Bookshelf. I don't know either of your first names, so I do apologise for that. Yeah, great stuff. Go check out those channels. I'm going to go fall over somewhere. And I hope you've had fun today. It has been good fun. We're approaching the end of the year. It's nearly Christmas. We're going to have an Animorphs fucking Christmas. So fucking get ready for it. I hope you've all had a good time. And I shall see you next time. Ta-ra!